yeah, I guess it's just that they just think it's better. They just think, oh yeah, Brother Case is the man for that. Let's go with him. Whereas, yeah, I guess that Brett Johnson, he's just kind of like he's no one to them.
Hello, intactivists. Today I have a returning guest with me, Scott White. So much has been happening with Prevail over the system. I'm going to let Scott go and say what's been going on.
Potts has taken a lot of the money that came from donations and e-commerce and CareBuzz and used it to pay groups that they have contracts with now, such as Intact Nigeria, which is run by D. Solomon. He's done some interviews with us. And he is promoting Potts. He's putting out at least 2 videos a month to people. And he's got his group in Nigeria, and they're watching Potts videos. They're subscribing. Then Breaking the Cut, it's David Candel's group. He's also promoting Potts
On his social medias and also his personal account as well.
Potts is getting groups to meet up on Discord. Potts is raising money and is having contracts with other activist groups, so paying them to promote Potts. And Potts is informing the public about current events in the activist movement. So activism groups are doing too, that are not directly working with Potts, as well as ones that are.
How do you know that Prevail over the system is effective?
I don't know if you can for sure. I mean, Prevail over the system makes good videos to tell people what's going on in the movement. Yet, I really don't know how many people are being informed about it and what they do with that information.
With that in mind, with Potts helping intactivism out, the past 4 months since we've talked, is intactivism getting better or worse?
I don't think activism is doing all that great. Now, if it's stabilized at this point, that'd be nice. But the reason I don't think it's doing so great is because we have too much inner conflict. You know, like you had Eric Klopper with Eliyahu mad at each other, but I think they resolved that. We also had Eliyahu calling Brendan Marotta anti-Semitic, and then Brendan suing him for slander for saying that. The foraging guys are not very good at communicating with their donors, and if you ask questions that they don't like, they kick you out of their server on Discord. I think the Bloodstained men kind of more like exclusive to themselves and don't really want to work with other groups. Yeah, this movement is really suffering.
But is it getting better or worse the past 4 months since we talked last?
Oh God, I don't think so. I think worse or just not better. That you made the video on activists are aging out, so we need young activists to stay with it and more, and people recruit more younger people too. And you got comments that said, "Oh, you're discriminating against old people. This is offensive." When really, no, it's not offensive to say the high level activists are aging out. Potts was polite, respectful about it. At the beginning, you said, you don't have a disrespect or dislike towards elderly people. You think they have tradition and wisdom and experience. You like that. It's just that they're at the age in their 60s, 70s, 80s that they're going to say, I've had enough of this and I'm ready to retire. And there's no one to take their place. That's the problem. It's a very important issue to be addressed because we need those people to keep the movement going. We don't want the movement to die when they stop with it. We have to keep it going. So it's not disrespectful or mean or discrimination to make that video to point out that this movement has that problem, that that's the situation. It's an urgent thing, really.
So the main reasons why intactivism is getting worse from 4 months ago is the infighting has gotten worse.
I don't know if it's gotten worse, but the infighting's there. Some of it's not resolved. Some groups don't like each other. It would really be beneficial if there was a group, and Potts could do this, that the other groups contacted and tried to coordinate with each other So they could do things such as, you have the legal groups that want to pass laws, like to protect the babies, to put a stop to this, and you could have them asking the protesting groups to go out there to the city while they are there. That would help. But we don't have that. We don't have the cohesion. And yeah, I mean, I'm just not seeing as much productivity in this group, in this movement. I mean, than as it could have. I also didn't think that I know you talked about this in another video, that the Bloodstained Men uniforms. And when I went and met with the Bloodstained Men and talked to them, I asked a few of the members, what you think of the pants? Do you need to wear them all the time? Got a few different answers. One was, well, only at the hospitals, at the medical, at the convention events, so the doctors see it. But all other times, people don't need to see it. That is the one I agree with. Other answer was, yeah, all the time, because it feels like my superhero outfit. In fact, I wouldn't want to do this without it. But I think the problem is that when you're out in the public seeing, normal, yeah, regular people, not doctors, and they see that, it's not approachable. They look at it, and their reaction is going to be like, "Oh, what the hell is that?" Instead of, "Oh, these people have a cause, a message, and they look approachable. I'll go over there and talk to them," which is exactly what you want. You don't want this bloodstain to make them look weird and scare them off. So, yeah, I think the bloodstain is very counterproductive, and it's the reason I wouldn't wear it.
So what's your favorite intactivist group then currently, and why?
I would say POTS, because POTS is delivering the news to everyone. But yet, there couldn't really be news without other groups doing something.
It seems like you don't like the Bloodstained Men uniform. Do you ever see that going away?
When David Atkinson takes over, yeah, he might. I don't think never again, but I think only at certain times, maybe, but that would have to, if the other members were like, yeah, David, not today, because David was more on the like, oh no, it's my superhero outfit, man, I need it. I think the other members could persuade him, though, possibly to say, yeah, this is not the right location to wear it. We are out here just seeing people, around the shopping center, around the plaza, out here in this parking lot near a hardware store, the grocery store. If we don't want to look like we're a bit traumatized, we don't want to look like it's real gruesome, because even though it is, and we want people to understand that can't be the first impression. They have to be lured in by people who look approachable, and we'll talk to them and reasonably. And then after you start giving them like the story without going too far into the gruesome details, you talked for a few minutes, then you get into the more in-depth details of the procedure and the harm it causes. But if they see that from the very beginning, and it's before they ever speak to you, it's going to cause most people to avoid you. You want to have a look that the vast majority of the public is going to think is approachable before, that way you won't scare them off, hopefully, when you do get to the details of what makes genital mutilation so gruesome.
Okay, so what protesting group emulates that the most of not scaring people off?
Cockfight does.
What evidence does it show that Cockfight's doing well?
Oh, well, okay. I don't know how great Cockfight's doing, so I can't really tell you. But I would say that Cockfight looks more approachable than the Bloodstained Men, because they don't have the bloodstained pants. And from what I've been told, Brett told me, yeah, they go out to the football games, they drink beer with the people. So they're building rapport, they're having fun. And it's great. If I got a choice to join one group or the other, I would choose Cockfight, because first of all, you're not just standing around in an intersection or a parking lot, which is boring. You're around in a lively area. People are in happier moods. They're more likely to talk to you. And he says they go do some partying with them. So I'm out there, I'm, chatting, talking about other things too. Being social and drinking beer. That's a fun time. That's not how it works with the Bloodstained Men. And I would think that would get you more success. It would make people want to listen to you more.
Why is it that Bloodstained Men can pull larger crowds into their organization than Cockfight?
You mean they have more members?
Yes.
I think it's because Brother K has been in the movement a lot longer than Brett Johnson, so he's just got a better reputation. So just people think higher of him than Brett. They're just like, yeah, Brother K, he's a legend in intactivism. Well, I'd like to work with him. Brett, not really. He's kind of a nobody. I mean, I think he's got some credibility with me because he started Cockfight. It's not nearly as much as with Bloodstained Men. So yeah, I think that's why people would definitely choose the Bloodstained Men over Cockfight. I
Okay.
guess they just it is bigger. The image is bigger. I don't look at that though. I mean, I see that, but what I think matters more is the way they do it, and I think that because of that, Cockfight would be more effective because it's more fun. So people want to talk to them more. They look more approachable. If someone's drinking beer with you, you're having a good time, so it's easier to get them to listen to what you tell them. It's like, this guy's a friend. We're cool, having a fun time, drinking beer and watching football. This guy's cool.
All right,
And
that makes sense. Oh,
they target the group of people. They target the right group of people. They target people in college who are at the age where they're going to be having kids soon. Either they've been thinking about it, they're about to, they have already, but most of them they haven't. But they're going to be having kids pretty soon. They're the most important population of people, the age group, to be telling about this. Whereas when you're in public, with the Bloodstained Men, you're meeting, people all over the age ranges. So some of the people you may get them to listen to you, but if they're, in their 70s and never having kids again, and they don't even have kids themselves, so they don't have anyone to influence, then yeah, it might feel nice they listen to you, but they got no one to pass the message to, and they're not going to be making that decision. So really, it didn't matter. That didn't make any difference. You convince somebody to not circumcise a baby who was never going to have that choice or get to talk to somebody who had that choice in the first place anyways. So yeah, Cockfight, when you're around a bunch of people who are in their 20s and they're going to be having kids soon, that's the perfect group of people. So yeah, they're going to have a higher percentage of success. The concentration of the right people to talk to.
why isn't Cockfight have like a whole bunch of people like on their board like, wow, you guys are so cool and you guys are fighting for something that is so intimate and needs to be fought for. I want to
Right.
do what you guys do because it's fun too. Like you said, it's fun, it's cool. I want to do that. Like, why isn't that as big as Bloodstained Men?
Location, that because Cockfight doesn't go too far, that there's only so many people who want to join. Whereas with the Bloodstained Men, the option is, okay, they can live all across the country, but then they can fly into an area, meet up, and then travel together. And that's no thing. That's no problem for them. Maybe that, but that's not so much an option because Cockfight's not going too far, so they're not recruiting as much. Maybe that. Also, there's only, I think, a small amount of intactivists who are willing to be, I'll say, shoe leather, street in the field intactivists, out there with the sign. So because that's a small population of our community, and because the Bloodstained Men have a better image, because they've been around a lot longer, they choose the Bloodstained Men. They're just more familiar, Brother K. He's just more famous. And that's all I know. I would definitely ask Luke. Luke Artanis, if you could ask him that question because he's worked with him. Who else? Audrey, who co-founded Cockfight with Brett. Ask her and ask Brett, or anybody else who's worked with Cockfight. And I don't know who else has. Yeah,
Okay.
that's all I can imagine. I mean, yeah, it's a fair question, but yeah, let's really take into account that of all the people who would say they are intactivists, who say they are, yeah, I am. Well, okay, what does it mean to be an intactivist? Because some people will say, oh, well, it means that you go out with a sign and you hand out flyers, as well as you're online spreading the word too. Other people say, well, you don't got to be outside, you don't be talking to people. All you got to do is you just got to share some videos. or you just gotta like some posts on Facebook with it, or you just gotta say that you approve of that message. So since it's not quite like the same standard for everyone, and I think a small amount of them feel like, oh, I want to be out there with the group out in the public, and they know the Bloodstained Men more and they like it. Yeah, I guess it's just that they just think it's better. They just think, oh yeah, Brother Case is the man for that. Let's go with him. Whereas, yeah, I guess that Brett Johnson, he's just kind of like he's no one to them. And I think a lot of intactivists, they don't know about Cockfight.
So do you think that Bloodstained Men then has better marketing than Cockfight?
Well, but yeah, Bloodstained Men's better funded. They can go farther. They can put up billboards, right? They can advertise more.
And you don't think that's because of the pants at all?
No, I think that all the Bloodstained Men are fine with wearing the pants. I think it's the public's reaction, right, that is affected by the pants, right? But that's a different thing, because your question is about people joining one group or the other, and the pants is a question about how people respond to seeing the Bloodstained Men compared to how they see Cockfight.
Well, Scott, I appreciate you being here and updating everybody and letting us know about your thoughts on the movement. If there's one thing that people ought to take away from this entire conversation, what would it be?
Don't ever think with any cause that, because somebody else is on it, somebody else is taking care of it, I can just sit back, I don't need to get involved. Because movements will fail when too many people think like that. You gotta put in some work. You want to join, I mean, if you could, but Cockfight doesn't tour too far, but if you're in the area, Kansas, the Missouri area, if Cockfight's active enough, they haven't been really active. So that's another reason that they don't have a whole lot of members. I don't know. Maybe a few years ago when they were more active, they did. I don't know how many members they ever had. I don't know if they ever had 10, because that'd be more than the Bloodstained Men. What I see with the Bloodstained Men is usually 6 guys out there, usually. But yeah, if you want to, give it a try, go to a Cockfight protest and just see how it is. And I think you'd have a good time. Go talk to Brett and be like, yeah, man, I'll hold a sign out there. I'll talk to people, be like, yeah, man, you can drink beer with them. You can talk about football. You'll like this. Especially if you're a football fan, you like going with it and you want to do this. You'd have a good time. Also, another message about POTS is I want all people in the intactivist community and all intactivist supporters to see the potential in POTS, to see that POTS really will give you a voice. If you got something to say, it doesn't have to be an interview. It can be a short video that POTS puts in the news. That's fine. Just but don't underestimate POTS. Let's really utilize POTS so that POTS can help the movement. If you got something going on, you need to promote it. Contact POTS. Like those groups like Intaction and Galadaf, any other group that is trying to get laws changed, trying to get the information in the hospitals changed regarding circumcision, saying, oh, it's actually not approved by medical agencies, by the American Pediatrics. It's trying to get, state laws to no longer allow the medical insurance companies to pay for the procedure, all that. Get those guys to those guys need to, contact POTS and start, telling you in advance, of course, what they're going to be doing, so everyone knows. And if anyone wants to support, they leave their information. Here's how you can donate. Here's how you can go out. Here's how you can, tell us what you want to say if it's relevant, and we can say it when we talk to the council. What really needs is that we need more cohesion, and we need the other groups to see POTS for the potential it has of educating the masses and keeping all the other groups connected to.
Okay, guys, that was Scott White. Let me know your thoughts by commenting down below. I will have links down in the description, so you guys can go ahead and follow Scott or POTS. Please give this a like to push Scott's message further, and subscribe so you don't miss our other interviews we are releasing every week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!